Hello everybody and welcome. My name is Rick Utzer here with AirgunWeb, your home for old school airgun reviews, and where we bring you the facts, not fluff. We're trying something different today. We got a new camera angle, new mic setup, not a new airgun, but this is certainly something new for me. Let's give it a shot. Alright guys, before we get started, I want to remind you that we have a Patreon channel. We also have the Officers Club over at airgunarmy.com. If you guys want to help support what we're doing, that's a great way to do it. You're going to get some early access, ads-free stuff. You're also going to get some exclusive behind-the-scenes stuff if that's what you're into. Definitely check it out, and we hope that you'll come along and help us do more of some cool airgun stuff here in the future. Today we're taking a look at the BARRA. Now we've shot the BARRA 22, shot it out to 100 yards. Very, very awesome video. I loved the way that one turned out. That was a lot of fun. Today we're back with the 177. I haven't looked at this gun in a long time. What we're doing is we're actually going to take a look at this in a different way. So, you know, a lot of folks want to just crank the power. They want to get a ton of energy, ton of velocity, and they think that's where their accuracy comes from. And it certainly can, depending on what ammo you're running. Certainly can make a difference. Sorry for the traffic over there. What we're doing today, however, is we really want to dial this in for accuracy. And I want to talk a little bit about, if you have one of these guns, and we'll talk about why you may want one of these guns, how to actually dial that in for accuracy. So let's talk a little bit first about the gun itself. The BARRA 1100Z, it's a PCP, so it's pre-charged pneumatic. And for you, all of you guys that are my enthusiasts that watch the channel, and you have all kinds of PCPs and compressors and all that kind of stuff. All right, let me talk to the other side of the room for just a moment. So a PCP is really cool if you're not familiar with what they do, because you have an air reservoir here, and you have a magazine, and you get a bunch of shots out of the air that's in there. Now the way that works is well, it can fill up to 3,000 PSI. We're not filling that high. I'll get to that in a minute. And then there's a valve. And then back here you have a hammer spring and a hammer. So when I cock the gun, it compresses the hammer spring compresses the hammer against the hammer spring and catches on the sear. When I pull the trigger, so now if I pull the trigger, that's going to want to fly forward, right? So if I pull the trigger, or when you pull the trigger, it releases the sear, which releases the hammer comes forward and hits the valve. Now, the valve opens and air from here comes through, does a U-turn and shoots the pellet out the barrel. So that's how this works. Now, this is an unregulated gun, which means, the pressure in the tube needs to balance with the weight of the hammer and the hammer spring. When that's out of balance, you can get valve lock or you can just waste a ton of air. So the way people get around that is with a regulator, which is another device that has a chamber you have the air cylinder, the regulator, and what's called a plenum, which is like, I don't know, it's like a powder charge almost if you're reloading. And it's just volume and pressure, it's consistent. And then you fire from that plenum. Well, this doesn't have one of those, and there's a lot of guns on the market that do. But that doesn't mean that you can't get consistent results out of a gun like this. This is, again, we're talking sub $300. It's a great backyard gun. It's super friendly to shoot. It's easy to work on. It's got a lot of great features that really make it something, gosh, it's great for the holidays. We got that coming up, right? So how do we get good accuracy and good efficiency? Well, I cheated. I actually talked to BARRA, and they said, well, Rick, if you want to get efficient, consistent accuracy, good shot string and everything, you need to find the sweet spot, which we've talked about that on the channel. Finding the sweet spot is fill your gun and shoot it, and it's like an unregulated gun, and you're going to have what's called a shot curve. It's going to go up and then it's going to go down, and there's going to be a spot somewhere in the middle, potentially, that is going to be pretty flat, and you need to know where your starting pressure is and your ending pressure, and that's your sweet spot. That's where you shoot. Well, if you're going to shoot this with 177, again, that's what we're shooting today, 177s. I've got the 10.3s here. 8.4s also will work in this power tune. What you want to do is you really want to reduce the effort, or the hammer force, there we go, hammer force hitting the valve. You want to kind of settle everything down a little bit. So if I filled this to 3,000 PSI, which is what you can do, you can fill it up to that, then you got to hit it really hard to open that up and get the pellet to go. Which means you got to crank this hammer spring, which is fine if you're shooting heavier projectiles or slugs, or maybe you're on the 22. All that works pretty good. And from the factory, it comes turned in about 6 rotations. So I'm putting air quotes, right? Factory-ish tune, right? Is 6 rotations in. It may be a little bit more, maybe a little less. It is, you know, you guys get what I'm saying. It's about 6 rotations. So what I've done is I actually backed this all the way out so that the hammer spring adjuster is actually flush with the back of the gun. Now at that point, I only need 2,000 PSI in my gun to get optimal, to be right at the start of that optimal shot curve, which is awesome for a couple reasons. One, if you're getting into this on a budget and you don't have a compressor or a big tank or that other stuff, filling to 2,000 PSI with a hand pump is pretty darn easy. And if you're concerned about shot count, I'm getting 48 shots. It starts to fall off a little at the end, but at least 36 shots, 12-shot magazine, 36 shots of 3 mags, right in a nice shot curve, like really, really nice. So not really hurting for shots, and it's super easy to fill to 2,000 PSI with a hand pump. So you can get an affordable hand pump, an affordable air gun, and you could be having a lot of fun in the backyard. Now, what I'm running here on top of it, this scope is a lot of money. Well, it's not a lot of money, but it's a lot more money than the gun. This is the X-Sight 4K Pro. It's a 5-20. I like shooting with this because it lets me film the target, which I thought would be fun to do today. Anyway, so what I'm going to do now is I've got this set up with my hammer spring flush. I've filled to 2,000-ish PSI, and we're gonna shoot a couple groups. Now, I've already been shooting this quite a bit today. I've probably got several hundred rounds through it, and I really wanted to make sure that I'm getting consistency from shot to shot, well, from shot group to shot group to shot group. So what I'm going to try and do now, and it's amazing how all of a sudden pellets get real shy when the camera goes on, but I am going to try to give us 3 12-shot groups on the target, and I'm at 25 yards, and I want to see how this thing does and kind of demoing this whole setup. Now, as far as power, we're getting about 16 foot-pounds, which is pretty good. I mean, that's an average brake barrel is going to do 16, your 177s. Do that. So can you pest with it? Yeah. Can you hunt squirrel with it? Yeah. Can you hunt rabbit with it? Yeah. You can do all those things. And if you want to run heavier pellets, maybe try some slugs or go, try some different stuff that's, that needs a little more energy to push. Well, goodness, you can just turn the hammer spring up. You can bring your pressure up, so maybe fill 2,500, find where your sweet spot is there. And then you'll be in good shape for actually shooting a little bit harder, a little bit different ammo. Now, in order to do that, you do need a chronograph, so don't just go turning things and expecting you're going to get the results you want. You got to be able to measure what you're getting, so you need a chronograph. I'm running the FX Chrony. I love this thing for this kind of work because I can shoot at my steel targets or whatever I want out on the range, and I don't have to shoot over a specific little tunnel to get my results. Enough of that. Let's do some shooting. Okay, my scope is set up and good to go. Remember to record it. All right, so I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to take a sighter. Let's see, we're on. Safety is good to go. Let's make sure we're connected. Yep. All right, and I'm going to run the Chrony through the entire shot curve.
700.
Okay.
93.
I adjusted the scope before starting this video.
700.
Okay.
93.
Let's take a minute and let's get this scope zeroed. This is my fault. Okay, so I, like a big dummy, needed to center the scope a little bit because it was a little canted. And when I did that, I obviously messed up my zero. Fortunately, this has the one-shot zero, which means you leave your original crosshair where you're shooting, and you move your crosshair. You move another crosshair to where you were landing, and hopefully That gets us on target here.
798.
I do love that. Okay, so yeah, we're good to go. We're on target now. I actually had not planned to do that little one-shot demo, but hey, it just worked out that way. I gotta remember to start my recording again. We're on. All right, so we're pretty much centered there on that sighter. We're gonna do 3 shot groups. Let's shoot this row right here. We're gonna do 12 shot groups right across. Now hopefully, now I can get 48 shots on the shot curve-ish. So I'm gonna leave these running because we're right in that, we're right where we need to be on the sweet spot. So we're good to go here, but we should be fine with 36 shots here. Let's go ahead and get started.
800. 807.
We got a little wind.
812. 814. 814. 817. 819. 826. 826. 830. 837. 837.
Okay, that's our first mag. And we got somebody, my ranch foreman's coming up. So if you hear footsteps, it's okay. It's not a spooky thing. It's just Bob's here. So let me go ahead and fill my mag, and we will shoot another group. As far as I haven't really done anything else to this gun. The only thing I've done really is I have tuned the trigger, and I have a video on how to do that. It's on my channel. And I also have tightened up all the screws, made sure all that's good. I've lubed up the trigger components, make sure they're running smooth. And then I turned the hammer, like I said, flush to the back of the gun, like Barra told me. And that's all I've really done. The gun's just, it's fun to shoot, it's quiet, it's certainly backyard friendly as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, let's do another 12 shots here.
830. 837. 847. 842. 849. 849. 844. 856. 854. 856. 858. 858.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. I'll take it. If you can cut the middle of your target out, obliterate the bullseye, then that's doing pretty good. So we got our last 12 shot group here, and I think you guys are sort of seeing kind of what I'm talking about. I don't need to push this to 3,000 PSI and crank the hammer spring up. I'm getting good energy. I'm at 16, almost 17 foot-pounds right now. I think that was probably our best, let's see, this would be like from 830 to 860. We're still climbing a little bit, so we're probably going to start dropping here at the end of this group. I think, I'm guessing here. Let's do one more 12 shot group. And as you see, these are consistent results. I've shot this a bunch today because I wanted to make sure that what I was getting, I was going to film today, was consistent. And yeah, I can sit down here, and if I just slow down a little bit and pay attention, I may shoot a little bit better. But you can just pew, 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 and you're getting very consistent results right across the board. So here we go. Let's try again here. The next 12 shots.
856. 856. 854. 851. 849, 847, 842, 837, 837, 817, 826, 814.
Okay, so that's our last 12 shots, and we definitely now are on the downswing. So when I talk about that shot curve, we started at just under 800, then we hit 800 pretty quickly, and then it kind of climbed about 840, 850, kind of hung there for a while. And now at the end of this mag, we're starting to slide off a little bit. I could push another mag, and you're going to see if I did that, that's when things start to kind of fall apart. So 3 good mags. I'm at 25 yards. Beautiful backyard plinking air gun. Super affordable. Obviously, you don't have to run the ATN optic unless you really want to, and I would say go for it because it's a ton of fun, and you get to see what you're shooting. And if you like hunting and seeing your kill shots, you can definitely do that with this. But you can also get a basic optic and have the same results, guys. But I wanted to show you a little bit different take, other than that we're always cranking up the power per se. I wanted to dial one down and show how a 177 can be a ton of fun to shoot and be really efficient on air without needing a regulator and without needing a ton of compressed air. You don't need 3,000 psi. You can run this. This runs on 2,000 psi. And we're getting these results. So to me, I think that's pretty awesome, especially coming up with the holidays. Money's tight, right? I mean, it's 2023, and from the folks I've talked to, yeah, pinching every penny is kind of what people are doing right now. So I think this is a great option if that's where you're sitting and you want to do some shooting. Guys, that's going to be it. I want to say thank you to all of my sponsors. You can check them out at www.airgunweb.com. I want to say thank you to BARRA for their help and for sending this out and let me play with it. It's pretty awesome. Thanks to ATN, thanks to JSB, and everyone else that helps keep AirgunWeb going. If you guys want to help us out directly, check out our Patreon page or the Officers Club over at airgunrb.com. My name is Rick Husey here with AirgunWeb, your home for old school airgun reviews where we tell you the facts, not fluff. Thanks for watching.